Ready, mate? Yep. Thank you very much. Well, yesterday, George, you mentioned yesterday it was going to be a trilogy.
It's got the boy from Matt Manning, you know, the guy from... I wanted to ask you first, really, about the books that preceded Game of Thrones. If we can leap in.
Yes, most people are startled to find out there were books that preceded Game of Thrones.
But can you see?
I'm a case of working 40 years to be an overnight success. When I was just a kid, selling monster stories to the other kids in the projects, usually complete with a dramatic reading, making the werewolf sounds. Then my career was abortive, though, because one of my main customers started having nightmares, and his mother came to my mother, and my mother just shut down my whole business there.
I've already answered. Some people like that and some that I'm going to go find out more about. Oh, yeah, thank you.
How are you? Sorry about that. I never thought it would be filmed. It was impossible to film. So these people at HBO are insane. I don't know what they think they're doing.
But the movies came calling first, didn't they? They actually did. Movie companies did.
They did, yeah. There was this guy named Peter Jackson. You may have heard of. He had some success with these Lord of the Rings movies, and Hollywood is very imitative. So the minute Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring hit big, every other studio in town that wasn't New Line started saying, "Well, we got to get us one of these." So are there more of these fantasy thingies out there? Oh, look, there's a whole bunch of them. And they're all on the bestseller list. So they all started getting snapped up for options. Robert Jordan and David Eddings and Ray Feist and Robin Hobb and on. All of the big fantasy series got movie studios sniffing around it, including mine. But in my case, I said, "You've got to be kidding. You can't make this as a movie. There's no way. They're bigger than Tolkien. Tolkien's great, but he just wrote 3 books, and by modern standards, they're actually fairly small books."
Yeah.
Thank you so much for showing us.
My books would have required like 9 films just to make the 3 that were in print by the time they were calling. So I turned down the studios. I had a few meetings. I listened to what they say, but I was in a fortunate position. I didn't need the money, and I didn't see the sense of doing a deal that would result in a bad product. But
television
was a different animal. It got me thinking, and I said, well, how could we do this? Well, it has to be done for television, not for movies. And then you have a lot more time. But it can't be done for traditional television like I'd worked for, like CBS or NBC, because there's too much sex and violence in it, and I didn't want to lose the sex and the violence. So I didn't want to tone it down and produce, a tepid kind of version. But HBO or premium cable was the answer there.
Good luck. Thank you so much.
Why is there so much more sex in the TV series, and how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm not really sure that there is more sex in the TV series.
He disagrees.
We were. I was talking to some people when some interviews earlier today. There's a big difference between seeing something and reading about it. A difference between 2 art forms. When you see something, it has a more powerful, visceral effect upon you. I can write a line in the books, and there are lines in the books. There are scenes that take place in a brothel, and I'll say, well, they were in the brothel and there were a lot of scantily clad women around, and you'll just glance over that. But when they dramatize that and they put that on the screen and you actually see the scantily clad women, it has much more impact. And you're saying, well, there's a lot more sex here, but I don't think there actually is that much more sex. But until someone actually does a count of number of sex scenes and all that, which I haven't done, I admit, so I could be wrong about this, but I don't know. Generally, I'm in favor of sex. And I think a large portion of the audience is too. They're certainly caught up to me. They're writing 60-page screenplays, and I'm writing 1,500-page books. And there's no doubt that the show is moving very, very fast. But you know, whether I'm concerned about it or not concerned about it makes no difference. I mean, all I can do is write one word at a time, one sentence at a time, one book at a time. So I'm writing the books as fast as I can write the books, and the show is moving along. So we'll see what happens.